never before, when American soldiers have been in harm's way, fighting and dying in a conflict that Congress had voted to authorize, has Congress turned around and passed a non-binding resolution like this one, disapproving of a particular battlefield strategy. I ask each of my colleagues to stop for a moment and consider the precedent the passage of this resolution would establish. Of course, I agree that we must hold the Iraqi government to account. That is exactly what the resolution Senator McCain and I and others have offered would do. Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that I be given an additional moment to finish my statement.
Is there objection?
That would come from Senator Cornyn's time.
Seeing none.
I thank you, Chair. When we here highly resolve, that was Lincoln's message at Gettysburg. It was a message of resolution. If I may, Madam President, I'd ask for an additional moment from Senator McConnell to finish the statement.
Is there objection? Without objection.
I thank the Chair. Lincoln said at Gettysburg, we here highly
My
resolve.
question to my good friend and colleague is as follows. This debate is well underway. The plans are being discussed. I just inquired at the desk, and the McCain resolution is not filed, yet I understood you to say it had been filed. Could you help clarify for the Senate the position on that?
I'd be happy to very briefly. The resolution Senator McCain and I and others have has been prepared, and I gather it's been the subject of negotiation between Senator Reid and Senator McConnell.
But it's not a part of the record, so...
No, that's right. The debate going on now is obviously on the...
Because I've always, very carefully, I feel very strongly that the Senate should work its will on facts that are out in the open. And I have filed my resolutions one after another at the desk so all senators can have the benefit. Is that a possibility that we could have the benefit of this resolution? My dear friend, it's more than a possibility. It's a promise. And at what time might the promise be executed?
Well, there are copies of it around now, and we'll get you one. They were publicly distributed on Thursday.
I'll be glad to give you my copy, but I feel presumptuous for me to address it unless it is properly before the Senate.
I thank my friend. The difference, of course, is that ours is as non-binding as yours, but ours is a statement of support to our troops and benchmarks to the Iraqis.
Well, Madam President, I'm clearly, what I've read is correct, but I assure you that I forcefully argue that ours is in support of the troops. And there's no suggestion that one is less patriotic than the other, if I may say to my dear friend.
One is not less patriotic than the others, but actions have consequences.
I heard a distinguished colleague from Connecticut talking about non-binding resolutions. I don't doubt his staff's research on this, but I will remind the Senator that over the last 12 years, there have been a number of non-binding resolutions debated on this floor on Bosnia, Kosovo, Somalia, Haiti, and others. And I would remind some of my colleagues who do not believe it's in the interest of our country or our troops to talk about non-binding resolutions, papier-mâché resolutions, senseless resolutions, that they actually voted for some of those resolutions over the last 12 years. And I'd be very happy to provide for the record a list of how everyone in this chamber voted over the last 12 years if they were here on those resolutions. And it might be very interesting and enlightening. Surely it is not because one political party controls the White House and the other doesn't. Surely it cannot be that.
This non-binding resolution before us, by contrast, is an accumulation of ambiguities and inconsistencies. It is at once for the war, but also against the war. It pledges its support to the troops in the field, but then washes its hands of what they have been commanded to do.